Yeah, PulseX was like really like that was like the cool kids, I think. Like Bittrex was like the normal people getting into crypto, and PulseX was like cool kids go here.
Yeah.
And then I didn't use PulseX because like if I remember they had some stupid fee model that I didn't like.
Okay.
But regardless, yeah. So I was on Bittrex, and Bittrex had an API and a few other exchanges that were like kind of worse, but they had APIs too. And I was like, well, if I could just write a bot that does TA, right? Like it's like TradingView does like the automated TA stuff. So I was like, well, if I can just like open some Python, and there's a library called like NumPy, which just does all the crazy math stuff you can do.
Yeah.
Um, I would write just like basically all of the TA math into NumPy, and then have it calculate TA on live data feeds.
That's cool.
And I'd be like, okay, so it'll just buy when a certain amount of these things line up and sell when they don't. And that like almost never worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
worked about half the time. So like I didn't lose any money really, but I didn't gain anything. There were times where I gained, and there were times where I lost, but they all pretty much balanced out. And I think the real problem I uncovered is that the APIs lie on all these exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
They don't accurately to the T give out data. Like sometimes they're 15 minutes behind. Sometimes they just skip. Like if you look at like, and a lot of things do this, but like if you look at pretty much any tool, like when someone really buys, there's a wick, right? That's immediately the wick down. And a lot of these APIs would exclude the wick, right? Because of that. And like that doesn't help when you're trying to like actually instantly math these things out like to the second.
Right.
So so I like that was part of it, but it's also part of like you're trying to do TA on, I had it doing TA on every coin that was listed on Bittrex, which is probably a bad idea. Right. It was like
Yeah.
everything.
Ooh.
But I
Okay.
mean it
Wow.
did it, but I was like, because I was really chasing those like little whale pumps, right? Like I wanted to find before some whale went in and just pump and dumped something. I wanted to
Right.
find it and get in there right at that time and then get out. Um, but yeah, it basically didn't work.
So how would you? So if you're writing that today, you said it works half the time. Like if you were using NumPy again and writing it, would you even write it in Python? Would you write it in a different language? Like how would you build one today? Even.
I would do the same thing, but I would do it much longer term, and I would be selective of what I put in it. So I
Okay.
would, you could do the staples, you could do a couple of the other ones you care about that you're not going to get upset with if you lost. Because one way that bot lost a lot was because it was doing everything on the exchange. It would get into coins that looked like good buy opportunities because they were going to delist it. So they would announce like 30 days. Oh, okay, we're going to delist this in like 30 days, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
everyone's
remember that.
selling. So the bot would be like, everyone's selling. This is a good buy, and it's not a good buy because they're about to delist it.
Yeah.
Like things like that.
Okay.
So
So you'd have a check for is there a delisting page for this coin? If so, don't report goodbye. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I think if you're selective and you do it long term, like I mean, it's basically auto trader, right? Like you're just gonna it's gonna do TA, and it will only do things if TA is right. And potentially maybe instead of having it just automatically do it, you just have it text you or something so you can just look at it,
Right.
something like that. But um I don't think there's a real good way to do that aside from Uniswap might be the only real way to do that these days, just because you can be certain Uniswap is not lying to you or
That's a good
withholding
point.
information. So but back then we didn't have that. So if I were going to do it again, I guess that actually changes things, doesn't it? Because then I wouldn't do it in Python. I'd probably do it in JavaScript or TypeScript because the tooling there is better for like
Okay.
interacting with the chain.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.